another edition of Lab Rats. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And today on the show, very exciting topic, I think. Something about storage, networks. Storage, network
The
attack.
sexiest of all topics possible is storage.
Take networking, connected to storage. Most fun topic ever. Yay! Yay!
Actually, yeah, not particularly sexy, but this is a potentially useful topic, and we've had people asking about it, so.
So this is like putting hard drives on your network, so you don't have to have it
Right.
dedicated to any one computer, right?
Right, so what we're talking about specifically is network-attached storage, and that's something that has been in the enterprise space, a big business, for quite some time now, but now it's sort of trickling down into the consumer space, so our viewers will be able to put this on their own network, and we'll tell you why you want to and how you can do it.
Well, that's super duper.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, okay. Well, NAS.
NAS.
Network address attached. Network address. I can even say it.
NAS.
NAS.
Just say NAS.
NAS. Coming
NAS.
up next on Lab Rats. But first, a message from our sponsor.
If a gorilla was the new Camtasia Studio 5, it would be leaner. It would be meaner. And it wouldn't steal your bananas. The new Camtasia Studio 5. Screencasting software that's better than a gorilla. Download it at www.techsmith.com.
All right. So that was an enjoyable commercial, I have to say.
It was the best commercial I've ever seen.
I like how commercials.
That's
They're
only because
fun.
it paid our bills.
That's right. We like that.
That's a pretty good commercial too. I hear you wrote it.
I did write that commercial. And
No, you wrote a commercial anyways.
several of them.
Yeah, you might not have seen the one that he wrote, but
It's possible. Yeah, you could have seen something else, I suppose, depending on.
gotta think of the future.
That's true.
There we go.
All right. Okay. So onward and upward to network attached storage.
Yes, sir.
So we're talking here. So you have a home network, right? So you've networked computers all together.
Yes, you've got a router of some sort. We've got the Apple Extreme here. It could be a D-Link, it could be a Linksys, but you've got a router here which essentially...
Could be a Belkin.
Could be a
Could
Belkin.
be a D-Link.
Yeah, but it's got the ports in the back, and it basically shares this Ethernet connection, or this connection from your DSL or your cable with the rest of your computers.
Right. So it's like you're sharing your internet connection, and
Yes.
you'll be able to share data between each computer as well. If
Exactly.
You want, right. Very good. Okay. Good. So you have that in place. So this is a kind of a moot point unless you have one of those kicking around.
I'm going to take this out of the way.
It's my Pleo.
I know.
Okay. So you have a home network, right? And you're thinking, well, I'm going to store all my MP3s in one place, and you can put them all on one computer, for example, and access them from all the other computers. Or, more excitingly, you can be okay?
Yes.
He's choked up about this topic. I have to
I
tell you.
am.
You could actually create a hard drive and hang it off of your network so that any computer on the network can access it, right?
Right.
Okay, so what do we need to do this?
Okay, well, first of all, we'll explain the downsides. A lot of people are probably thinking to themselves, well, if I can share a folder on my computer, why don't I just do that?
Yeah.
And the answer is, well, you can, but what that means is that computer always has to be on from that point on forth. So if you want to share the data on it, you can't turn it off at night, essentially, and then expect other people on the network to be able to get to that.
Right.
So-
Or I suppose the other thing would be, if somebody's using a computer on a regular basis, like dad's working on a spreadsheet and mom's, I don't know, photoshopping or whatever, whatever machine they're on, if you're accessing all your favorite ABBA tunes across the network, then that can diminish the performance of both the music playing back and also mom's experience with her Photoshop.
Yeah, if everyone on this network is hitting that hard drive at the same time, it can cause performance issues, both for people on the network and for that machine itself. Definitely.
Okay, so you don't really want that.
It's not ideal, mostly because when you consider these days, we're all trying to think more green, use less energy. Having a computer that's sucking back a lot of energy running full time is not a great thing, especially because it means you're going to have to turn your air conditioner on then to deal with the heat that's coming out of it. It's going to be noisy. You can't sleep if it's running necessarily in the next room. So not ideal.
Okay, got it.
All around. So what has been done in enterprise, as I mentioned off the top, is something called network attached storage. Now, in the beginning, this was something that was very high end, cost thousands and thousands of dollars, but it essentially took a hard drive, broke it out of a computer, put it into a box all by itself, and then you hang it off the network. So then it acts as a shared folder, essentially, to any machine that can access the network without having to be a full computer.
Right. I just want to put one thing in. So we use the word enterprise as tech journalists. We like to use that word. It just means the businesses, right?
Yeah, big business.
Big business.
So enterprise would be something like IBM corporate or like the Walmart corporate back end sort of thing.
Fortune 500 type of
Fortune
large
500.
companies. Anyway, yes. Okay, got it.
So there we go.
Right.
So now, not everyone can afford that kind of enterprise or big business solution that's out there, because those would cost tens of thousands of dollars. Thankfully, the network attached storage, someone at one of these companies figured, you know, consumers at home can use this too. It's not just big companies. Yeah, I think they did do that exactly.
Okay.
Or one of them suddenly went, my God, I have $1 million idea. I better get this out before someone steals it. Oh, too late.
Right. I think that's how it went down, actually. Yeah.
Pretty much. So definitely now with people having lots of MP3s, lots of video files, lots of tons and tons of data that you have on your computer itself, and you want to share this sort of thing around your home network. There's just so much stuff on there that we want to share that having a hard drive attached to the network that's not attached to a computer just makes a lot more sense now.
Sure does, yeah.
So there
network attached storage.
Network attached storage.
Can I get it now?
You're attaching the storage to the network rather than to the computer.
Wow, so simple.
Yes.
All right, okay. So what do we need?
Well, you need a device that somehow has storage in it that can attach to the network. So
you just use a hard drive?
Pull this off to the side.
Any hard drive?
Well, we'll get to that in a second, but I do have one thing that I want to show. One prop here. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
This is one such device that I actually like a whole lot. It is the Micronet Platinum NAS. You know, starts I think around $500 now, maybe a little bit more. Goes up to several thousand depending on how much storage you want on this. Very configurable because it has all of these drive bays up front, and you can change your drives out yourself.
Oh, it's so fun!
And so you can actually upgrade your drives or replace them as necessary.
Yes.
It comes in RAID, and if you don't understand RAID, we did a whole episode on that a while back, but in short it just means an array of disks that you can put together to either make it a bigger disk or mirrored disks for redundancy.
They copy each other so that you always have a version in case one crashes, right? The other thing is, of course, the great thing about this is you can use it for exercise. You must. You must. You must increase our capacity, storage.
Right. So anyways, this is one such device. A little bit more expensive. It has a server built into it, so you can actually do file sharing, and you can actually use it as an iTunes shared folder as well. Ooh. So a lot more built into this, a little bit more expensive, but here's the key thing on it is it's got a Ethernet port on the back. So it attaches directly to your network. It doesn't attach to one of the computers.
And so for those of you that don't know what an Ethernet port is, it's just a network connector.
It's a network port,
right?
yeah.
So it's a port where you plug your network cable in.
Yeah, so basically that one that looks like your telephone jack, but slightly bigger and wider.
Oh, North American telephone jack.
North American telephone jack, yes.
It's oversized North American telephone jack.
Right. So that's on there. So upside of this, lots of storage. You can get terabytes and terabytes and terabytes on this. Downsides, it's big, it's heavy, and it has a fan in it, so it's kind of noisy too.
But it replaces your home gym?
It replaces your home gym, and it actually will take the load off of your computer's hard disk because you can put all your MP3s on here, and your family, your son, daughter, or wife, or husband can grab these from another computer in another room. But this is not what I would necessarily recommend for the beginner because this is a little bit higher end.
Does that cost $1 billion?
It can cost $1 billion if you configure it with all of the stuff that you want.
You're basically buying the shell and you're adding a hard drive, right?
You can either buy it bare or you can buy it with the hard drives. Oh. So you can go, last time I looked it was up to about 3 terabytes, but with 1 terabyte drives on there, you can actually get up to 4 now, I think, in there. And I mean, it's going to be 2 terabyte before too much longer, so you can just swap the drives out whenever you're ready. So that's the one nice thing about this.
Millions of dollars? Thousands?
Like I said, when you start at the lower end, it's in the hundreds, and then it can go up to thousands if you get the highest end and configure it that way.
Cool. Okay.
So what I'd recommend for the beginner user is something like this. This is Western Digital's MyBook World.
Right.
And you might know Western Digital's MyBook as an external hard drive for attaching to your computer.
Yes, right. That whole branded line, right?
Right. And so this one, it looks pretty much similar on the outside, but instead on the back, instead of having a connector for hooking it up via FireWire or USB to your computer, it has this Ethernet port right here.
Right.
So you can plug that in and then plug it in over here to your network, which I've done.
Yes.
And so between the two of these, you now have a nice little network attached
So
storage
your
device.
router has, your router doesn't have any specialized ports here. It just has a network port. It's just like another node on the network.
Right.
So it just acts
So
as another
like a computer. Yeah, so you don't need anything special to do this.
So all the controls, the software, the controlling chips are actually inside this, and it's there's no software to load on any machine anywhere.
No, you can load software onto your machine to make it easier to configure. Each of these devices, Western Digital and any of the other ones that come, there's a Maxtor shared storage device as well. Each of them comes with software from the company that does allow you to, just where's my drive? Can I attach to it? Let's create an automatic shortcut to it. So you can do that if you want. But you can also just surf directly to these boxes as well.
So for beginners, you should install the software. You just configure it to find it on the network. For the more advanced types, you can actually go to your router, look up the IP address, meaning the numeric address on your network, and then type the http:// and then the IP address in your web browser, and you'll surf directly to the storage device itself.
So in this case, it was like something like 192.168.1.6 it's taken. So then we can surf directly to that. In certain networks, shared drives will pop up automatically, and it has done so here on my machine here. Under the shared folders, MyBook World has appeared when I plugged it in.
Oh, good.
So on the Mac, it's fairly easy that way.
What about on Vista?
On Vista, I'm not 100% sure, but if it automatically detects shared folders on the network,
yeah, I think it does.
Then it should detect this as well.
Of course it does. It's Vista. It's great. It's fantastic.
So it says connection failed. So connect as. Well, we did a little bit of custom configuration on this a little bit earlier, so.
I blame it on Apple.
I will blame it on Apple as well.
Good.
So, but anyways, that's how easy it should be.
Okay, right. So not super easy to do. There's a little geekiness involved here.
Yeah.
And so not for the ranked beginner, but
yeah, well, if you use the software that comes with it, it should be just really as easy as
like screw around like Sean does.
Yeah, well, to be honest, what happened is I had to reconfigure this because I've been using it in a different way. So it's not in the configuration it was when I first set this up. So actually, don't blame Apple, blame me.
Okay, got it. Good.
So
that's
part of it. So you don't necessarily even need to buy one of these devices if you don't want to go out of your way, because these will cost a little bit more than a standard external drive because it's got the logic built into this, all the
smart brainy stuff in the chips inside of it
that knows how to convert that signal from hard drive to your network.
What else you got?
So what I'm going to do next,
something fun.
I'm just going to take a standard hard drive. This is an external hard drive that I had kicking around. Now this is the Seagate pre-agent.
Yes.
And what I do is just plug it in over here.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Now,
plug it in, plug it in.
Now this next part actually requires a special router to have. Now a majority of routers don't have this at this point, but a growing number are starting to have it. And thankfully this one that I have has this capability. It is the ability to, I'm going to unplug this first of all, because we don't need that anymore. So if you notice on the back here, we've got all of these ports that will handle networking, but it's also got a USB port right here.
Very good.
And what that will allow you to do is hook up a printer or an external hard drive. And what we're going to do is we're going to hook up this external hard drive here.
So this is an ordinary external hard drive.
This is just any external USB hard drive that you've got.
Okay.
And when you plug this in, it's essentially turning this into a network-attached storage drive.
Now, doesn't this need specific drivers? Doesn't it have to accommodate certain types or brands or anything like that, or will it take pretty much any USB?
It should take any modern USB hard drive that uses mass storage class as its method of communicating with the computer.
Okay.
So what it'll do then, obviously, it'll say, I recognize you, you're a hard drive. Now I will share you with the rest of the world.
Okay, so then how do you find it on the network?
Well, again, what it should do is create a shared folder on the network. Again, you notice on my computer here, it's created a shared folder here called labradb, which is the name of my access point. And it'll likely do the same thing on the PC, just create the name of the access point. Now, you need to know the password on your access point, in this case, with the Airport Extreme to do this. Different machines will do this in a different way, different routers.
So this is an administrator password to get into your router that you would use?
Right.
Okay.
So I'm a registered user on this. I'm just going to type in my password.
What is it?
My password is Andy is a wiener.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm going to hit connect.
Yeah.
And there it is. And my Seagate is now attached here.
Wow.
And I'm going to click through, and because it's coming over the network now, it's a little bit slower than it would be if it was connected directly. So it'll need a couple seconds to...
Oh, Sean, those are dirty pictures on there.
They're pretty, they're filthy. And unfortunately, this is one of the problems with network-attached storage that is worth mentioning, is it's slower than it would be if it was connected directly. So there we go. So now it sees the different folders that are on here. So I have my music here, and you can see some of this stuff that you were mentioning in the last episode about my cattle slaughter music.
Yes.
So once you get the connection, it's a little bit quicker. So
does it improve the sound of the music?
Unfortunately,
like cattle being slaughtered.
Look, I've got ABBA here.
Yay!
You think ABBA sounds like cattle being slaughtered?
No!
You're a sick, sick man.
It's the best.
So anyways, now we've got this. We can access this from any other machine on the network.
Very cool. Okay. So router, which probably costs you an extra $10 if versus your ordinary router. Maybe some routers have the extra smarts, a couple extra bucks. You need an external hard drive. And then need to be smart like him. And that's it.
You only need to be smart enough to put that in there.
That's pretty good. Wow.
So
okay.
there you go.
Fabulous network attached storage. 3 different options for you to keep all your MP3s and all your...
Actually 4 if you count the old other computer running.
No, that's true. There you go.
So
very exciting. So now you know. Okay.
Do you feel more illuminated on NAS?
My brain feels larger. It really does. It's leaking out my ears. All right. Let's take a break. I think when we come back, are we going to look at pictures off of the network attached storage?
We're going to look at network attached pictures, yes.
Yay! Okay. Well, let's take a break. Message from our sponsor. When we come back, picture time. So I think we should probably say something nice about Western Digital.
Yeah, especially because that was my fault that happened. So essentially, I've got a network configuration at home that's a little bit custom, and my access point didn't really like it when I switched that over.
Get that out of the way. So this is we really like this a lot. This is a nice little device because they sent it to us and they're nice to us.
Yeah, and
they're nice people.
And it does the job too. I mean, we've got it hooked up right now. It's sitting here. It's you can surf to it, like I said. You find out the number of it and just go to it. So I went straight to this in this way. Again, you can use the software to do all this configuration, but then you can change your username, password, set up your file sharing over on this other tab over here. But there you go. So we can set up a user. We can add a shared folder on here. We can rename it. We can do whatever we need to put folders on here that are...
So you could like set up a folder for like your son Nick and your son Simon and your daughter Joanna, which happen to be the names of my siblings, but...
Interesting that you called them your sons and daughters.
I know. Well, I'm the oldest of them. I feel very patronly towards...
There we
paternally towards my brothers and sisters.
So I guess that'll work. So there you go. And again, we'll point out, this is slow. This can be very slow. And you mentioned that to me during the break as well, that you had this at one point and it was very slow.
Not this one particularly, but
Not
in
that
general.
One, but in general. So
network address, attached storage is slow to access, unfortunately. Now, one of the things you can do to remedy that is you can, on your network, you have a choice, right? If typically the network connection is 10 or 100 megabits per second, there is something called gigabit Ethernet, which is 1,000 megabits per second.
They're doing some testing in the building right now, apparently.
So if you have a gigabit Ethernet network, then of course access to this will be much faster. Or if you're using 802.11n as a wireless network access as well.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're using 11n, that'll certainly speed things up compared to the lower speed. But you might not want to do this as a backup solution if you're backing up an entire computer. Yeah, it'd be very slow, and
I would even say that network attached storage is not a good idea for home backup as a general rule, just because it's slow. It can be a problem. It's good for like MP3 file access, to share your photos, to keep your video, that sort of thing.
Yeah, if you've got like 100, well, not 100 megs, but like say 20 or gigs of MP3s or videos that you want to, send off to this, you can do it. It'll be very slow. Do it overnight, and don't just sit there tapping your foot, because it'll be a long, painful wait.
Wouldn't it be smarter to connect this via USB, dump all the data that way, and then just retrieve it across the network?
Yeah, there are some devices that are out there that will allow you to do that. Not too many of them. Most of the ones that are consumer-friendly, this Western Digital one and consumer-friendly NAS from the other companies, they essentially are just a port on the back, and you send your data over the network. So. So a build-it-yourself NAS, and there are those out there, like from D-Link. D-Link has a custom build NAS where you can take a shell from them and put your own hard drives in there. So just dump the data onto that yourself, potentially, and then throw it into the slot after you're done transferring it over. So that's one way to do it, too.
Well, there you go. NAS.
NAS
is nice.
NAS is NAS.
Good, okay. All right, now it's picture time.
It is picture time, so we will bring this up.
I love picture time.
Bing! There we go. So we're ready to go now.
Okay, let's go.
So, our first photograph from our viewer, Jose, in Orlando.
I have an outfit just like that.
Which one?
Both of them, actually. In my Friday night outfit when I go out on the town.
Figured. So Jose in Orlando, his kids here. Sebastian is 4 years old.
Oh.
And Gabriel is 6 months.
Peter Pan and monkey? I don't know.
That monkey is eating a little baby.
So cute.
So very nice.
Very nice. Thank you so much for sending
Jose.
that. We love that.
And we love to see pictures of your kids, and of course you and your frogs and dogs, and
Simplex test page.
And the Simplex test page, guys.
and the Simplex tech. We don't have a photograph of them, but we do have a photograph right here of something from our viewer Logan. He has an eBay store, I guess, selling mods and devices and things like that. So he just wanted us to mention that, his eBay store.
Oh, okay. Do we have to put up a URL?
Yeah, a link right here.
Okay, so send us $47, and then we'll put up a link.
Yeah, all of your future sales, we need a cut of it now.
We need a cut, man. There you go.
And last but not least today, we have George, who is located in Melbourne, Australia.
And he has orange hair.
He has orangey hair.
Very good.
That's spiky, kind of like mine used to be, except without, I didn't have the frosty tips.
That's right.
Maybe I should get frosty tips.
Yes, you should get frosty tips.
There
That's George from Australia?
Yes, you can say that.
Australia.
I'm not going to say it like that, but you can.
Come on. Well, thank you, George from Australia. Very good with your frosty tips. You just may have started a trend here at Lab Rats. Like, if he shows up next episode with frosty tips, you know what's happened.
I'm thinking about it seriously now.
Very good.
Anyways, if you have a photograph you want to send it to feedback@labrats.tv. You can go see our forums at cyberwalker.com/forums. You can go to our site and see what's new by going to labrats.tv. Or you could, mock everything that your co-host is saying. That would be good too.
Thanks for watching this week. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for push and play on your player. I guess that's it for us. My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Are you ready?
Yeah, thank you. If you could do that right in the middle of our next batch, that would be awesome.
Very good.